This video covers review 10, problems 11 through 20. So problem 11 asks us to solve the following system below, and matrices is the recommended method. So when I use matrices, I have to line up X, Y, and then it needs to say equals answer. So for the top equation, I have X, Y, and answer. The bottom equation, I need to be more careful because X is in the back. So X is 4. Y is -3, and your number is 6. If preferred, you can rearrange, but be careful when you rearrange. You keep the signs with your numbers. So that negative in front of the 3 moves with the 3, and the +4 moves. So to enter these in my calculator over here, I click second, X to the -1 because it says matrix, scroll to math, scroll to B because we want the really rapid equation fixer, and click enter. And then alpha zoom, I want a 2×3, so I click OK. And remember, I use the right arrows every time I re-enter something. And when I click enter, I can see my answer is 100132. So my solution would be 3, 2. Problem 12, a math test, has 25 problems. Some are worth 2 and some are worth 3 points. The test is worth 60 points total. If X is 2 point and Y is 3 point, which system could be used? So 2 and X need to go together. 3 and Y need to go together. Anything that does not have a 2 and an X and a 3 and a Y together can go. So A and B are out because they do not have 2 with X and 3 with Y. So now we just need to figure out C or D. So I have a 50-50 shot at guessing this correct just by looking at that tiny piece. There are 25 total problems, and then we also have information about points. So I know something about problems that has a total of 25, and points that has a total of 60. Now they tell me X goes with 2 points. So 2 in X and 3 points in Y. Points plus points need to equal points. So that's going to knock out answer D, which means it has to be C. So C has problems plus problems equals problems, points plus points equals points. D has problem plus problem equals point, and point plus point equals problems. 13 is a review. What solution makes this true? For this, we're going to use don't call me after midnight. So the first thing I need to do is distribute. So 0.5 times -13 is -6.5 m, and 0.5 times 24 is 12. And then 0.25 times 32 is 8. And 0.25 times 18 should be 4.5. Yep. So minus 4.5 m. Now next is combine like terms. I do not have any like terms on either side of the equal sign. I do need to move because I have m's on both sides, so I'm going to add 6.5 m's, move that to the other side. Then I do have something on the same side as m, so I'm going to move that 8 that's not directly attached. And my last step is to multiply or divide. I do have a 2 in front of m, so I'm going to divide to get that m equals 2. So looks like a very complicated problem, but all we do is distribute, move, and divide. So don't be scared of that one. 14, Christy made 48 cookies. The number of chocolate chips she made was 3 more than twice sugar. Which system can be used to find cookies, chocolate chip cookies and sugar cookies that Christy made? So again, I'm going to see if there's anything I can knock out first. Chocolate chip is 3 more than 3 sugar cookies. So chocolate chip is or equals 3 more than 3 times sugar. So 3 plus 3s is C. So this one does not have that. This one has a minus. This one has it backwards. Oh, look. All I did was read one question or read one sentence, and I had the answer is A. just by knowing chocolate chip equals 3 more than 3 sugar. So there's more chocolate chips, so chocolate chip goes on the outside, and it's 3 more than 3s. Remember, the plus means they can be rearranged front or back. 15, which inequality best describes the graph below? So when I look at this line, I can see it's dashed, meaning there is no line under the inequality. When I look at all of these show dashed lines, so I can't knock anything out there. I'm going to go up to where my line crosses. Look at my b. b is 5. Oh, all of these have b values of 5, so let me look at my slope. From point to point, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Over 1, 2, 3. So my slope needs to be a negative 4/3, which knocks out A and C. If you're not sure, if you're like, whoa, how'd she pick those points? Try these two. If you start at 5 and you go down 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4, is your line way out here? No. So if you're not sure, then test the slopes that you're given. If I go down 4 over 3, my line is there. So now when I look at B and D, the only difference is the shading. When I look at 5, everything above 5 is shaded, so Y is getting bigger than 5. The shading is above 5, which has to be answer choice D. Alternatively, you could pick a point, let's say easy one, 10, 0 or 0, 10, and plug those points in for X and Y and do a point test to see if your inequality is true. 16 asks us to graph the inequality of 4x minus 3y is less than 6 on the grid below, and then identify which coordinate point is a solution. So first, in order to graph, I need to solve for y. So I'm going to move 4x to the other side. Remember, when we cross that equal sign, or in this case, that inequality, you have to change your sign, and subtracting does not do anything to my inequality sign. Then I have to divide everything by -3. Because I divided by a negative, this inequality sign is going to flip. And so I have a positive 4/3 because negative divided by negative is positive, and 6 divided by -3 is -2. So I start at -2, and I go up 4, right 3, up 4, right 3. This is a dashed line because there's no line under the inequality. And in this case, y is greater than -2, so on the y-axis, greater than goes above, so everything on this side of the line will be shaded. Remember, you can also point test, so plug in 0, 0, and that inequality would be true, so you shade where 0, 0 is. So now we'll test these points. 7, 0, not in my shaded area. 0, -2 is on the line, but the line is dashed. 3, 9, very clearly in my shaded area. 2, -4, way down below. So the only one very clearly in my shaded area is 3, 9. Just a couple more problems. So problem 17, the algebra team is ordering pizza for lunches for the math department. There's a $15 delivery fee and each pizza is $6.50. Write an equation for the total cost C for ordering P pizzas. So my cost is going to equal that $15 delivery fee. Notice that's a one-time fee. And then each pizza is $6.50, so that's going to be $6.50 times P pizzas. The keyword here is each, so each pizza, we don't know how many pizzas, but each of them are $6.50. 18 is probably one of the longest ones on the review. We have equations for two lines and they ask for the y value, and in this it is recommended that you use substitution. Now remember, these recommendations have been based off of the test, so it is highly recommended that you use them if you want to be successful and use your time wisely tomorrow on the test, but you do not have to use that method. If you wanted to use matrices, then you would need to move this 2x to the other side. If you wanted to graph, you would need to solve this equation for y, but here's how you substitute. So my equation that has y by itself is over here. Remember, we make a substitution sandwich, so bread, and then meat. This is where most of my work happens. So instead of y, I'm replacing y with -2x plus 1, and I am leaving everything else the same. So where y was, I replace. And again, I leave 4x, the minus equals 5, all the same. So now I'm solving for x using don't call me after midnight. So plus 2x minus 1 equals 5. Combine like terms, so 6x minus 1 equals 5. Add 1 to both sides, so 6x equals 6. And divide by 6, so x equals 1. Then, in order to find y, I'm going to take x and replace it with 1, because that's what x equals. And so y equals negative 2 times 1 plus 1. So I can plug all that in because it's all numbers into my calculator, and I get negative 1. Now the question specifically asked for the value of y, so y equals negative 1 would be your answer. Now let me tell you real quick, this answer would definitely be on there. It'd be like A is 1, B is negative 1. So make sure you go back and reread what value specifically they are asking for. 2 more problems. 19 says, what does it mean if 4,1 is a solution to the system? If it is a solution, remember it has to be true in both of the equations. So not at least one, it has to be both. Not neither, not exactly one, but it has to be both of the solutions, or both of the equations. So on this problem tomorrow, you're just looking for the one that says both. Problem 20 is the last one. So they want me to graph the system of inequalities. In order to graph, I have to solve the top one for y. So I'm going to move 2x to the other side. I move by doing the opposite sign. And then divide by negative 1. Because I've divided by a negative, I have to flip my inequality sign. So I start down at negative 4, go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. This line is dashed because there's no line under the inequality. And y is less than negative 4. On the y-axis, less than goes below. So I will shade under the line, everything underneath that line. On the second equation, it's already solved for y, so I start at 1 and go up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3. This line is also dashed because there's also no line under this inequality. And y is less than 1 goes underneath, so I shade everything underneath this inequality as well. So my solution set is anything in this bottom trapezoid, down here where the blue and the purple on my thing overlap. So when they ask for a solution to the system, it can be anything in this pink area. So I could pick 10, 0 way out here. I just need to make sure it's in my double shaded area.